How y'all doing? This is Pitchman on being listening on the movie reviews. This time I'm reviewing Woodlawn, and what Woodlawn is, it's about this high school football player, Tony Touchdown Nathan. And what happens is there's this evangelist sports kind of counselor deal. He goes to this school, Woodlawn, and he starts talking to the team because at this time Woodlawn just started integration, and it's real hostile at this point. And there was an incident before this happened, so after a couple days after the incident, this guy comes and the coach lets him talk. But before the incident, coach didn't want him to talk. He was against the whole thing. He wasn't a Christian, so he really didn't understand it, so he didn't let the guy talk. But he told the guy he has 5 minutes, and the guy talks, and about an hour or two later, coach comes out of his office, goes to the gym, it's still going on. He tells the assistant coach to shut it down, to stop it. And after the end of the service, the team starts standing up, and everybody except for 3 of them get saved. And then the first game comes, and they wind up losing, and they play Tony in safety position and gets 1 interception, and they lose that game. So there's a starting running back, and he's a racist, and he's against segregation, and his father is too, and a bunch of drama comes out through that. I ain't gonna touch on that really that much, but basically a bunch of drama comes because of this kid and his father later on in the movie, and I'll touch a little bit more on that here in a minute. But anyway, Tony gets starting running back, and he starts making plays, and he starts getting better and better. And they wind up winning all the rest of their games except for their last one against their rivals, the Banks Jets. And they wind up losing that game, and they're all down and depressed. And the counselor just tells them to keep having faith and keep doing what God wants him to do, because this whole junior year, Tony's junior year, this is when the first half of this movie happens. Counselors telling him that this is his gift. He don't know exactly what his gift is, but he's pretty sure that playing football has something to do with that. So they go into off season, and before this they had this award ceremony for the best two players for that year, and it's Tony and the quarterback for the Banks Jets, and he's a big part of this story too as well. But anyway, the governor wants to take a picture of him, and this is the same governor in Birmingham that went on in front of the nation, and whenever this happened, saying that Alabama would never be segregated, they would always be separated. And Tony tells him he's not going to take a picture with him because of what he said about that. And the superintendent, I guess this guy is, tells Tony's coach to get to take this picture. And he says the coach says he stands by his player's decision. So this really gets stuff heated up, what's going to transgress in the rest of the movie. But anyway, after that, the summer season or whatever, the motivational speaker that got the Woodlawn team motivated and saved goes to the Banks team, and it does the same thing. And then they meet up at Woodlawn, and they decide to have a preseason training summer deal with the Banks and the Woodlawn teams together. The reason this happened is because the coach that had Tony hurt in the last game of his junior year got saved during this revival, and they come together as friends, and they get closer, and they go throughout the season year. And Bear Bryant shows up at Tony's house, and before this, during Tony's junior year, some people put a note on a brick and throw it through his little brother's window and burn his jersey on the wooden cross in his lawn. And this kind of gets Tony where he doesn't want to play football anymore because he's scared of his family's well-being. which is a perfectly good reason not to do this, but the motivational speaker that encouraged him to keep going, because God's using Tony in a great way to motivate these kids. And Bear Bryant does the same thing. Because Bear Bryant comes to talk to him, trying to recruit him to Alabama, and he's thinking on it, and then later on in the movie, Bear Bryant comes back, and he got a suitcase with him, and he knocks on the door, and it's so funny. He knocks on the door, Tony answers it, and he says, "Tony, I'm not leaving here until you sign with Alabama." And he basically moves in with him for a couple of days, and Tony, at the end of the movie, Tony winds up going to Alabama, and we'll touch on that in a minute. But anyway, they go through his senior year, and the Woodlawn and the Banks, they're undefeated, and they come to the game to see which one of them goes to playoffs. Now, mind you, this is not a playoff game. This is not the state championship game. This is a regular football game, okay? So they go to this big stadium in Alabama, and they sell this thing out, and they had to turn away 250, I think it was like 250,000 people, because this place was so packed, because they came to see Tony and the quarterback for the Banks football team. And they played the game, and at the end of the movie, we wound up finding out that the Woodlawn lost, and we find out that the head coach has been telling the story to the guy he's trying to sell insurance to. And the reason he's selling insurance to this guy is because he quit coaching because of the drama I'm about to tell you about. Well, the superintendent I told y'all about gets it where he gets an attorney in and is trying to say that the coach forced religion on his players, where it really didn't happen that way. And the father of the son that used to be the starting quarterback wound up quitting, and then the father's going to say the coach said either he can join in on this or he's off the team. That really didn't happen. And there's this big trial about it, and they're trying to figure out what's going on. And at this game, the superintendent turns off the speaker's mic while he's doing the prayer before the game, and the whole stadium says a prayer. And then at the end of the movie, we find out that Tony goes to Alabama, and they win the state championship that year, and Tony talks to the coach and tells him that he believes that God made his coach and talks him back into going into coaching. And I really like this movie. It's based on a true story, and it's a real testament how God can move in a small town during segregation and during all this other stuff to make it where Tony could be inspiration to all these people. And it kind of mirrors what's happening today, and I wish this kind of stuff would stop, but it don't look like it ever will. But this was a real good movie, and I liked it. Y'all tell me what y'all liked about this movie if you've ever watched it. And the next movie reviews is going to be Brian's song, so I'll be looking for that whenever I do it. As always, it's Christian, and I'll be signing out. That's good, Jesus.